Brodes Media.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Wow, the Sixers advance. What a game. Awesome, exciting, electric atmosphere. Before we get into the conversation, on my Twitter, at Brodes81, I am giving away a beautiful 76er snapback. The profile has the pinned tweet at the top, and it explains the rules at Brodes81. Get yourself entered today. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also hit that like button too. I really appreciate all the support. I love you all. Thank you all. And now it is the time to enjoy the show. There was never a question. There was never doubt that this Sixers team would win in Game 5 at home with the crowd going bonkers. This was set up for a Sixers win with or without the big man, with or without Joel Embiid. This team is too talented. They play such a great brand of basketball that no Russell Westbrook is going to beat them, especially when you were at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philadelphia. Let me just get this off my chest, okay? And I know there's so much to attack here with this game and with Joel Embiid's injury and whatnot, but I gotta get this off my chest. Russell Westbrook sucks! Russell Westbrook absolutely fucking blows. This guy blows. I do not care what the stats tell you. I don't care about his triple doubles. I don't care about the numbers. Russell Westbrook absolutely sucks at the sport of basketball. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the averaging of the triple doubles. I just don't care. He is really not good, and he does not help your team win at all. He was minus 21, 7 of 20 from the field for his 24, 10, and 8. He does not result in winning basketball. He hits a shot off the glass and he thinks he's all cute. And he thinks he's so damn good that he's going to try it again and he's 5 feet off the margin. What are you doing? Who do you think you are to kiss the ball off the glass 5 times a game? You're garbage. Oh my goodness, it's laughable. It's laughable watching him step into mid-range jumpers and step into shots. And when he makes it, he has this snarl, right, or this cocky look in his face. Dude, we're begging you to take those shots. We want you to do it. You can take them all game long, and we're going to win because you don't do it at a high enough clip, and you're not effective. It's so damn funny. But I digress. Let's talk about what this team did. And they came out in the second half and put on a beautiful display of the sport of basketball. Good team win. Seth Curry, 30 points. He's crossing up Hachimura. The poor guy has a family. I think he's still slipping and sliding away down Broad Street. He's still tumbling all over himself. Seth Curry was magnificent. Tobias Harris, phenomenal. Ben Simmons. I asked Ben, I tweeted it out. It said Ben Simmons now has to be the blowing the smoke emoji out of the nose. You know, the tweet that he always throws up there, the blowing the smoke out of the nose emoji. He needs to be that version of Ben Simmons in this performance. And he was at the 5 position. It's not easy to go from point guard to center. That's the versatility that he has. He gives you a triple-double while doing it. There was a hack of Ben moment. He went 3 of 4, which is okay. It could be worse. He finished 5 of 8, which unfortunately the bar is so low for his free throw shooting. I guess that's not as bad as it could have been, and that's where the bar is. But, okay, goes 5 of 8. He did stop the hack of Ben from happening, though, by cushioning his free throws. And there were all these reports, Johnny A reports. That's John Clark, of course, from NBC Sports Philadelphia, tweeting that at 4 o'clock, Ben Simmons was on the line, practicing and preparing. And good, that's the steps he needs to be taking, and that's what he needs to be doing to get himself properly engaged, to be knocking down those shots, because he knew Scott Brooks was going to do it. And speaking of Scott Brooks, you know what's hilarious to me? Lots of things funny, by the way, apparently. But with Twitter tonight, Wizards Twitter of all things, get this bum out of here. This guy stinks. This guy's awful. Can you believe Alex Len and this and that? Dude, your team sucks. Your team is not going to beat the 76ers. I'm not telling you Scott Brooks is some fantastic coach by any means, but your roster is horrendous. You have Raul Neto playing serious minutes in a playoff series against the number 1 seed with the roster that was under 500 after the regular season was over and had to play in a play-in tournament. Your team's not good. But that's naturally where everybody wants to go because, well, it's the easy blame for it to be the coach more so than, I don't know, your roster just not having a lot of cohesion. And you have Russell Westbrook, who is garbage. Did I have to do that again? Yes, I did. So good for Ben Simmons. I mentioned Tobias. Tyrese Maxey. My God. Are you serious with that? I mean, my man is legit as hell. And we knew that, right? We knew that. This is not breaking news, but it's so damn fun for him to get thrown into some playoff action. And he looks so smooth. He looks so solid. There was a run in the first half where he carried that run. The crowd was going electric, and the place was so nuts because Tyrese Maxey's coming around picks. He tried to throw that monster slam down. He should have been able to do it. Oh, he would have went nuts. Oh! 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 Oh, I wanted to have that reaction so bad, but just missed it. He was awesome, and I'm going to throw this out there because we are all enamored with the way that he plays the game, and he's running the point guard position, and the offense, when it goes quiet, you give the ball to him, and there's a spark plug. Ben Simmons had an insanely good game. I'm not taking anything away from the triple-double that he had where he finished with 19, 10, and 11, especially doing it at a different position. Getting his number called, hey, Ben, we need you at center tonight. That's what makes Ben Simmons so damn amazing. He can do that and it not be the biggest gaping hole in the world, although it is because Joel Embiid is the highest of the high that you can possibly have at the center position. So anyone is a step in the other direction compared to that, but you could hold your own. Now, granted, they don't have any insane players on the other side, but still, it's still unreal and incredible that Ben Simmons has the ability to do that. That is something that you can possibly do. That is a legitimate option. Not every team has that possible thing to do. But I do wonder if we are so amazed and our eyes pop out of our sockets the way that they do watching a young Tyrese Maxey because he is a versatile scorer who has the ability to score in many different ways. He can dribble drive. He can pull up. He can hit the three. The three-point shooting has gotten better. By the way, he's definitely grown in the defensive department. I'm not telling you he's a shutdown guy by any means, but you could see that the steps have been taken in the right direction. He's a smarter basketball player on both ends of the floor. He can hit the floater, and he can drive beautifully, too, and kiss it off the glass for a layup. My point is this. That's a general, standard, normal point guard in the NBA, and I just wonder, for the last 3-4 years of Ben Simmons, are we so used to, just by this getting drilled into our head for so long, we're so used to Ben Simmons stopping at the free throw line, passing it to Mike Scott, or not taking advantage of a Hachimura mismatch down low, and instead he kicks it out and you reset as an offense. We've seen that so many times over the last handful of years that seeing Tyrese Maxey, we're like, whoa, what is this? What is this? I never knew someone in a 76ers uniform could run point this way, and it's different than what George Hill or Shake Milton has ever tried to do. George Hill is your veteran guard that, yes, can give you that style of play, but when you see it with Tyrese Maxey's flashiness and his poise and his confidence and his swag, it reaches a different level. I'm just wondering. I'm just asking the question. That doesn't mean I hate Ben. I'm just asking the question. Is it possible that we are so mind-blown from Tyrese Maxey because we don't know what a traditional point guard in 2021 is supposed to look like, and we're just stunned by the skill set and what it does kind of change, right? I mean, here comes the screen. He comes around the screen. How about a nice bounce pass to Furkan Korkmaz, who's cutting? He was finding some nice lanes as well to even deliver the basketball too. Man, Tyrese Maxey's fun as hell. All right, so there were a few moments, and I haven't even touched on Joel yet, and there's so much on my mind. I'll get to Joel. Let's get to Joel, because when the news came out that he was doubtful, and even after the game when he did not return, that specific game, Game 4 in Washington, D.C., I didn't really have a feel that it was anything serious. And then I heard people who know individuals with the team, and maybe they were trying to sell bullshit to make it not look as bad as what it was. But, when you listen to people who knew guys inside and women inside and had discussions, it didn't seem like it was going to be the end of the world, and it did not seem like it was going to be severe. So when you see the Woj bomb go out there that there's a small tear in his meniscus, my heart sunk. I was not prepared for that at all, because I have mentally and physically prepared that it wasn't anything that was going to really make my heart skip a beat. They're going to try and maneuver around it as much as possible. I did say in the Doubtful podcast that there was something fishy and there was something cloudy, something murky. Something didn't feel right because of how long it took us to get information during the game and how much it took us to get information, how long it took after the game. And they tried to give you the bus story with the plane and this and that. And I'm not saying the plane crap didn't happen, but that's the excuse that they were using. While internally they were trying to figure out, okay, what is our best bet? Do we need surgery? Do we not need surgery? How are we going to label this? What are we going to say? Day to day, like I'm hearing doctors talk on the radio, not fake doctors calling up saying, hey, I'm a doctor. Some of these sports talk radio hosts in the city bring on actual doctors in the city that has worked with these sports teams. And, it doesn't seem like it seems playable. You're going to play through it. And by the way, it's going to be painful. It's not going to be easy, and it is going to be something where he's not going to be 100%. This definitely has a level of damn to it. It's deflating for sure. And I know tonight is a weird night to kind of have that topic and or have that conversation be the big storyline, because you just advanced. You beat the Wizards in 5. You played an awesome team game of ball that was just a really enjoyable watch, mostly after the first half. I thought the first half, especially early first quarter, it felt tense. Maybe it was the fans in the building feeling nervous. They started Matisse Thybulle. I would have started Ben at the 5. That was obvious for me. I think I would have went with George Hill. I was texting a couple of my buddies before the game. I would have went with George Hill over Tyrese Maxey. Probably would have went Hill, Curry, Green, Tobias, Ben. That's probably what I would have started with. But anyway, I thought the first quarter was a little bit tense in there. You could feel the building felt a little anxious, but then the game found its rhythm. It found its personality in the second half. You saw the third quarter, you clamped down on both sides of the floor, which helped you make that push and grab the lead. And the fourth quarter is kind of what it is. It was big moments from a lot of different players, and that was the beauty of this one. Every single player, for the most part, stepped up, and there was at least a moment for a specific player to step up, because I'm not going to tell you that Danny Green had this insanely magnificent night, but what he did do was there was that stretch. After missing a bunch of corner threes, which is just surprising, something you're not used to seeing, and we always ask the question, what happens if Danny Green misses his shots? What if Seth Curry and Danny Green don't have it that night? Well, Seth Curry made up for the lack of Danny Green in this one. It's always going to be some variation of those two. One guy goes off, one guy doesn't. Both guys have okay games, and that adds to the number of points you need from your two floor spacers. It's just really just random, but you got to find a way somehow between those two to get the numbers that you're looking for each night. After missing some of those shots, though, he had a weird knee bend on a blocking call, which ended up, I don't remember if it was a block or did they call it a block? He tried to take the charge. I forget if they called that one a block or not. The refs were all over the place. Not that we are surprised by any means. He ended up having a steal and an inbound. He ended up hitting a corner three, and he ended up taking a charge all right before that first half ended, and that had the spark of the crowd. So my point is, maybe not the whole game. Everyone was just fantastic and stellar, but you look around the roster, and there was a moment for each player. If you bring up a player, I will tell you the moment that stood out as a specific game-changing moment for that player. But with Joel, yes, I got sidetracked. I seem to do that a lot. I didn't love the quotes by Doc Rivers before this Game 5. He said pregame that he's hopeful Embiid will be back and not sure when it's going to happen. He'll be ready if and when he comes back. Everything was if, when, this, and that. I just think it's actually way more serious than I thought initially, obviously, because I never thought it would be any sort of tear of the meniscus. And, I'm nervous. I am actually nervous because as great as this win was, and this is why it's a weird day to talk about it, because I'm not trying to be in that painful negative view, but it's hard not to when you see the Woj bomb that dropped earlier today. You can't do this without Joel Embiid. Okay, Joel Embiid is your MVP. Joel Embiid is playing an MVP of the league, and it's obviously his if he has more games played. So he is that strong. He is that important. You can challenge yourself all you want internally without the big fella. When it comes to playing better opponents and better teams, you might not be able to have that same sort of explosion without him. So, I am scared. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. I am scared. I am nervous. I am upset, and I am worried. Way more worried than I thought, because if he's out there and plants his leg in the wrong direction, who knows what can happen. And it's a tear. I mean, it's a tear in the meniscus, no matter how small, lateral or not lateral. There is a tear in this meniscus that makes me nauseous, and it can definitely be a difference in where this team goes for the long term or not. They're going to be playing the Atlanta Hawks. It looks like Atlanta got the job done in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks fans, they want the Sixers, they want the Nets, whoever they were chanting. Come on now, Knicks. This is why I tell you. Playoff basketball, regular season basketball, two totally different beasts, okay? It's not even close to the same product. Ask Julius Randle about that. Ask Tom Thibodeau about that. Ask the New York Knicks about that. It's not the same type of beast. Everything intensifies, and you need to go through those growing pains until you truly understand how it's like. And by the way, speaking of chants, shame on anyone in the Wells Fargo Center tonight chanting, "We want Brooklyn." I thought that was brutal. I thought that was embarrassing. We make fun of all the loser towns that chant all that stuff. Come on. We lost Joel Embiid today, and we're beating the Washington Wizards, an 8th seed, and we're calling out the Brooklyn Nets. We're the number 1 seed. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Teams should be saying, we want Philly. We want the Sixers. We want Philadelphia. We don't call out other teams. Fuck the other teams. Fuck you. Fuck you, Brooklyn. Fuck you. Fuck you, Giannis. Fuck the 2 seed. Fuck the 3 seed. That's the mentality you should be having. I'm not saying to specifically chant that, but that's what should be discussed. You don't call out anyone when you're the top. You let them come to you, and you finish the job off. Unfortunately, though, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic because I don't know the status of Embiid, and I can't rule this team out against the Atlanta Hawks because I still think that there's tremendous talent on this roster. But guess what? I'm thinking about it more than I ever was, though. The best way I heard it explained is, and it's reality of the situation, without Joel Embiid, you're closer to the Hawks than you are not to the Hawks. Right? I know that's not breaking news here. You lose such a superstar talent. Yeah, you are going to lose a lot of power, but you're closer to the Atlanta Hawks than you definitely are without Joel Embiid. Or, you're closer without him than you are with him, and I don't know. It's something. It's definitely something. All right, so the few moments that I wanted to get to. Maxey in the first half. I mentioned the Danny Green one. The hack-a-Ben. The fact that Ben Simmons got on the line and he drilled the 3 of 4. He hit the first one, then he missed the second one. And then that was in the first portion. The first time he got fouled, he went 1 of 1. He hit the first one. You think, all right, maybe there's something new. Maybe he'll go 2 of 2. Did not happen. The second time they tried it, though, it did. Westbrook went through some really emotional fouls there where he basically shoved Ben Simmons a couple times. And one was just Westbrook being pissed off with the referees for not calling a foul on him as he was on the offensive side of the ball. And as the basketball was going in transition the other way for the Sixers, he just nonchalantly gave Ben Simmons a bit of a push and turned around and started yapping his ass off. And then later on, there was a turnover by Tobias Harris. Quick hands. Here goes the ball. Ben Simmons tried to attack offensively. It was an ugly-looking take to the basket. So the Wizards try and push the pace the other way. Tobias picks it off. Ben Simmons is still cherry-picking underneath the basket. He ends up getting fouled by Russell Westbrook, who's all emotional once again, and he's going crazy. He's going bonkers, and Ben Simmons ends up getting the and one. I believe he missed that and one. But that was a big turning point. The Westbrook emotional roller coaster that just went on this insane high. And I think you got to credit the fans for getting into his grill. It's hard to play in an environment that is so against you, especially during a game where your backs are against the wall and when you lose, it's all over. But you could tell there was that switch in the second half where it was pretty inevitable. Everybody on the Wizards side knew when they were dribbling the ball up the floor, they had no confidence. They had no preparation involved in what the hell they were doing. They were just out there waiting for the clock to expire. And you also saw Westbrook and Bradley Beal hanging out on the bench somewhat in defeat. knowing what reality was, and as they should. Dwight Howard giving you some spark, right? Some of the bench guys, Korkmaz had a couple shots. I keep getting those. Brodes, you told me Korkmaz won't hit a damn shot in the playoffs. It's the under 500 Wizards. And good for him for hitting them, because the alternative is for him not to hit them. Shake Milton has been so poor that Korkmaz has gotten an opportunity, and he's taken the most of his opportunity, so good for him. But I was never questioning if Korkmaz could hit shots against the Washington Wizards, who are under 500, who don't know a damn thing about defense. There was one play, once again, it was Russell Westbrook, where he just completely fell asleep, did not even feel like playing defense at all, allowed Korkmaz to slip into the corner, the easiest thing. I could have slipped in the damn corner. You could have slipped in the damn corner. Anyone could have slipped into the damn corner. And Russell Westbrook puts his hands up and puts his hand on his knees afterwards as if he couldn't believe himself. I could believe it, Russ, because you stink. You stink. What doesn't stink, though, is DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is not only my favorite sportsbook, but also America's top-rated sportsbook. I love using DraftKings Sportsbook. It is easy to navigate, has plenty of instructions for new bettors, and nearly limitless ways to get in on all the action. My friends and family have been loving DraftKings Sportsbook, and I know you will too. Listen to this great offer. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code BRODES when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. Bet on any basketball team of your choice to win their next game, and if you do, you will claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code BRODES for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, you know the job here, or you know the time. You know the job. I don't even know what that means. You know what time it is. It's the Anytime Hotline time. Here we go. Let's hear from you. What do you have to say after the Sixers advance?
This was an absolutely good game by Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Seth Curry and Tyrese Maxey. Also, Dwight Howard and Korkmaz get a lot of love too. If Ben Simmons plays like this and Tobias Harris plays like this, even when Joel Embiid comes back, we have a chance to win. There's definitely some things they can improve on, but as of right now from this game, I liked what I saw.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, if we're talking NBA championship, I don't know. I have way more question marks than you do, if that's what you meant. If you're talking about an Atlanta Hawks series, if they all play this way and they all play lights out, because essentially, for the most part, 90% of your team played lights out. That's a tough ask for every single night, right? But there is something to this. Yes, this resume or this procedure or these ingredients that you had tonight, you can win and tally up a lot more playoff wins when you see the Atlanta Hawks, if this is what you get. Tobias Harris was 9 of 17 with 28 points. Seth Curry, 10 of 17, couple threes, 30 points. I wrote on here, poor Hachimura. I mean, come on, really? That's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Unreal. There was times where the paint was an issue for the Sixers early. They had to make an adjustment, but you watch the Wizards over and over and over again just attack the paint, attack the glass, attack the area where they're so used to having Joel Embiid there. There was a time where they had to get used to that, and they had to somewhat weave that out, and they eventually did figure out what they were going to do to stop it happening from that level to that level, like transition defense and just poor defense in general early on. But that's when the game was somewhat still figuring itself out, and how was it going to play out, and what was the identity of the game going to be. You were still waiting to see that side of things. We won Brooklyn. The hell are some of these people talking about? We won Brooklyn. Crazy. Sorry, I got sidetracked again. But, yeah, I want to get back to the caller real quick, just to summarize, because, it is important to point this out. This version of Ben Simmons, he had the pace at the way he wants it to be, right? He dictated the pace of play from the center position. He got good looks for his teammates. He was aggressive when he needed to be. A few moments here and there that made me scratch my head, but you're going to get that out of Ben Simmons pretty much every game anyway. And any player. There's a lot of players where throughout a game you're going to be like, really? Really? That's the decision you made there? In what universe did your brain trigger, hey, this is what I should do in this situation? No. So it's not only Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons was strong for his 19 points. He had 10 rebounds, 11 assists. That was awesome. The team played a cohesive game, and Doc mentioned that they challenged themselves, and that's what they needed to do. They needed to internally look at themselves and say, all right, we are going to use that as motivation. There were some fans afraid, some fans scared that they were going to fall to the Washington Wizards. There was not a second in my mind that I felt that this team was going to lose to this Wizards squad. All right, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. And you know that Joel Embiid is such an important piece of the puzzle, but sometimes it doesn't matter when your opponent is that awful, when your opponent has no life, when your opponent is clearly not on your level of play. Not on your level of play. This Wizards team is not a good team. So even without Joel, this Sixers squad was going to come out victorious. When you also factor in the Wells Fargo Center had the capacity the way that it was, there was seriously no way that this team was going to drop this one and head back to Washington, D.C.
And we'd like to thank the Washington Wizards for participating in the 2021 NBA playoffs. Got some consolation prizes at the door. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Great win by the Sixers tonight. So many guys that you can single out from Maxey on down. But I'm going to focus on a guy that I feel bad for because the referees never let him play. But Dwight Howard was huge tonight. The Sixers, in my opinion, were too small with the lineup at first. When he came in, he established the low post presence that they needed, both on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And Doc Rivers, the press conference sucked, but in the second half, the adjustment to double Bradley Beal and pretty much force him out of the game made all the difference in the world. We pray for Embiid, but right now, let's enjoy the win.
Yeah, the Bradley Beal thing's interesting because no matter, and I don't know off the top of my head, I'm going to look it up right now. It looks like the Sixers and the Hawks are going to play on Sunday. So there's that. But I want to look at, why does this keep happening with something is screwed up with my whole entire desktop right now. Bradley Beal was 10 of 23 for 32 points. It just seems Bradley Beal gets it's just crazy. He's one of those players, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, so getting to the foul line, knocking down all of his shots. I knew he had over 30 points. It's like, you held Bradley Beal to 30, and that's what happens when you don't really have a supporting cast and your other Robin, if you will, or Batman, or whatever you want to give him. I heard Allah say that they had two Batmans on their team. I don't know if Russell Westbrook is really a Batman, but when your other guy is so damn inefficient, you know what, Bradley, we'll try and make it living hell for you and try to have some other guys step up and cash in for you. Dwight Howard, imagine being on the other side of the floor, right? And you're basically going up against Ben Simmons. And when Ben Simmons leaves, who is not nearly the size of Dwight Howard and that insane body, you go from Ben Simmons and now a full force like Dwight's in there, who's just a brick wall, standing in the paint area, going up to grab some rebounds, maybe get a putback, get fouled, go to the charity stripe. Just his energy and his presence blowing up the entire Wells Fargo Center. Every time you watch someone miss a free throw in the second half and the Frosties are going, what do you think? You think Dwight Howard. Honestly, whenever I see the Wendy's fans going nuts behind the free throw, behind the basket, and you see one guy miss the first free throw, you're like, oh, Dwight Howard, he just has that type of intensity there in the second half when someone gets fouled, yada, yada, yada. But the Dwight Howard presence was here. The thing is, you can't rely on that every night because there was a game that just occurred where Dwight Howard was essentially a nightmare and he was a problem. When you get the great Dwight, it is magnificent and it does end up affecting affecting the outcome of the game. When you get the bad version, though, it's so head-scratching, and you wonder, what are you doing, and why are you fouling? And believe it or not, I know nobody wants to believe this, even though, the caller just mentioned it. Sean did just mention it there, that the refs don't let him play. The refs don't let him play. He has fouled someone before. I know nobody wants to admit it, but there are times where the fouls are actually warranted, and he did foul the opponent. I'm just saying, that has happened at times. I know it's hard to believe because of the way that he reacts, but I'm telling you, it's true. It has happened.
I remember some clowns saying in the national media and some panicky Sixers fans on Twitter and Wizards fans saying, "Oh, Wizards in 7. Sixers are nothing without Embiid." Well, this game pretty much proved it. I said after game 4 that we need to make this team regret winning a game in the series, and we pretty much did that. Killed them tonight, and on to most likely going to be the Bucks. So most important thing right now is Embiid's health. We need to get him healthy because this team, even though we should probably beat the Hawks, even without him, it would still be nice to get the big man some minutes before a series against the Nets or Bucks.
You know what? I can't even think about the Eastern Conference Finals. There was a time where I could barely think about the first couple of rounds, and I was already clocking in mentally when I'm putting in my timesheet. I'm thinking of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not telling you the Atlanta Hawks are some special team, but I'll tell you what, without Joel Embiid, if you got to play games without Joel Embiid, you can't rule it out. I'm just saying, you can't rule out that this thing could be a dogfight and this thing could be a series. That doesn't mean I think the Sixers are going to lose. It doesn't mean that they can't come out on top and come out victorious. It doesn't mean they can't surprise me and play extremely damn well and blow them out. They are a good basketball team that collectively know how to operate as a unit. With that said, it's very, very scary to think about what this team does for over a 7-game series without the big man. And the problem is we really don't have any information. I don't think we're going to get much information. They're going to hold it close to their chest. They're going to hold their cards very tightly. That's what this organization has done for so damn long. So, the problem is we're just going to be wondering and guessing and having hypotheticals and discussing about what if when it comes to Joel Embiid for basically the entire time moving forward.
We want Brooklyn. We want Brooklyn. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want Brooklyn right now. We really need to get Embiid healthy, and then we can play against Brooklyn. Great win. Ben Simmons played like he has to play every game. Seth Curry's a demon. Looking forward for the next round. I got the Sixers in 6.
All right, Sixers in 6. How about that? The We Want Brooklyn thing threw me in for a loop. I'm not going to lie, because I sat here and roasted it 2 times, and then we get a caller giving me the We Want Brooklyn chants. I just don't understand. I'm never a We Want Anyone fan. I'm not a chanter like that. I don't see anything behind. We mock those. We laugh at Knicks fans. We laugh at Wizards fans. We laugh at these teams. We are the best. We are the top. Nobody in this city needs to be calling out other teams. They should be calling out us. People call out Conor McGregor. Why? Because at the time of his prime, he was the top dog, and you call out the best that's going to make you the most money with your pay-per-view. You call out Floyd Mayweather. Why do you call out Floyd Mayweather? Because he's the top of the top. You call out the Golden State Warriors back in their prime. You called out LeBron back in his prime. You called out the top dogs for a reason, because you're special. And you put yourself in that position for a reason. You don't call out other teams. All right? It's loser mentality, in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on it. As more calls are coming into the show here, I guess I did not mute that one. I apologize. Should we take that and just say screw it? We'll take it no matter what. All right, fine. You got a little lucky because I messed up a little bit when it came to the Anytime Hotline noise being active while I'm actually recording. So hey, let's go for it. We'll just go for it. Here we go.
What's up, Brodes? Anwar from South Philly. Man, I was looking at the game. Once Tyrese started to give us that energy, I was just like, man, then if you can't read what Tyrese is doing, he's letting you know these people is sweet and just take it to him. Like, if he can do it, I know you can do it, man. I'm just glad we pulled out the win on to the next round. Hopefully we can buy Embiid sometimes. But, yeah, I'm definitely glad we got the win. What's up, Bros Nation?
No doubt, baby. Brodes Nation. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you know what? I was hoping that Knicks series would go a little bit longer to buy us more time. As I alluded to, they are playing on Sunday, so round 2 is going to be then. There is something to that. It could have been a little bit longer if the New York Knicks could do us a favor. I love that the last call here throws out the Ben Simmons thing. I was thinking about it the whole damn time. Watching Tyrese Maxey run point guard like a normal point guard with the threat of actually shooting and how that changes the spacing and how the pick and roll game is formulated and what the screen does and all of it. It's like, wow, that's what a basketball offense is supposed to look like in 2021, huh? It just had my head spinning. That's all. That doesn't knock what Ben Simmons provides. It doesn't mean he doesn't play good defense. It doesn't mean he's not a good passer. It doesn't mean he's not good at rebounding. It doesn't mean he doesn't know how to facilitate or dictate the pace of the game. All I'm saying is I watched a point guard at times run a traditional set, and I forgot what it looked like. That's all. That's my point. That's all I'm trying to say. So, look, big victory for the Sixers. Love it. We will obviously be discussing this Sixers team before Sunday's tilt. I can't wait. Hopefully we get some sort of update on Joel Embiid's status, although I don't know. I really find that hard to believe that they're just going to randomly be like, oh, yeah, you guys want to know? We'll tell you. They're going to keep this very inner house, inner circle until they have to, until they're forced. So thank you all so much for listening. Before we head out of here, Orbit Energy and Power are home to your solar experts. They provide solar energy systems, backup energy services, water purification systems, tree removals, electrical upgrades, you name it. 800-836-3987 is their phone number. They do work in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and Florida. So they're best in class. They really are. If you're looking to upgrade your home, visit orbitenergy.us or give them a call at 800-836-3987. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.